Hi, welcome to my first DVD review. Tonight up is Dillinger, 1973, starring Warren Oates, and he really delivers in this movie. Basically, it's about the movie John Dillinger, Public Enemy #1, the first ever Public Enemy. And he plays the role magnificently. He brings the character to life. I mean, one minute you totally are rooting for him, and the next minute you kind of hate the guy. But he just totally brings it all to the screen. And also starring in it is Richard Dreyfuss. He has kind of a small part into it, but he also plays the character called Babyface Nelson. And if you can imagine Richard Dreyfuss shooting a submachine gun, it's totally a trip, but it's definitely worth seeing. And also, some of you might be wondering who Warren Oates is. I know a lot of you know who he is, but some of you might not. Anyways, here's a small picture of him as John Dillinger, right there. And basically, most of you will know him as Sergeant Hulka in Stripes, one of the greatest comedies ever with Bill Murray. And don't forget, he's also the Big Toe. Anyways, another great movie to see if you get the chance, but I'm just plugging this also since Warren Oates is in it, and also the late, great John Candy as Dewey Ox. You gotta love the Ox. Okay, and also, I'd show you more of the backing of the movie here. And there's no really cool insert. They re-released this DVD, and sometimes they just leave out all the good stuff, which is kind of a disappointment. Wish they put in more, a booklet or something. But anyways, can anybody tell me what this is? I've been seeing them in a lot of newer movies and some re-release movies, and I don't know. Are we supposed to insert a picture there to make it look more cool or something? Or did they just run out of plastic or whatever? So if any of you all know what this is, let me know. Thanks. Anyways, I highly recommend Dillinger. It's a great movie, lots of action, and the storyline is just amazing. I mean, I haven't seen the Johnny Depp one, but anyways, I still think this one will still outrank Johnny Depp. And the next on my list is a great 80s classic, Dr. Detroit. Dan Aykroyd, the man. He's basically a simple guy, you know, he just working his life, and then he gets involved with becoming a pimp for these ladies. And it also has Fran Drescher in it, in a very early role ever in there, and Donna Dixon, very hot blonde babe back in the 80s. And as you can see, Dan Aykroyd does get his groove on in there. And he is like just the baddest doctor pimp there is. And for the insert, let's see what we got here. I haven't opened this in a while. Nothing other than the DVD. See? I don't know why when they keep putting out movies like this, they don't put in like a cool insert to tell about the movies. Anyways, I highly recommend Dr. Detroit if any of you have not seen it, because there's a dance scene in it where the doctor gets all great. And the doctor likes to talk like this with a metal hand. It's really good. And he goes up against another pimp boss called Mom. And she is one badass mom. Okay, that's probably my worst impression ever of Dr. Detroit. I've had better ones, but I'll work on it in time. So I highly recommend Dr. Detroit if you have not seen this. It's hilarious. It's beyond cheesy. I mean, it's just the best, because Dan Aykroyd is just a simple businessman getting on with his life, and all of a sudden he's asked to become a pimp. Alright, last but not least is Worms. Now, I never heard about worm eaters before. A friend of mine turned me on to it. She knows everything there is about horror movies, but I'm pretty good at it once in a while. Anyway, she turned me on to this. This is fabulous. It is so beyond cheesy, it's great. I mean, how can you go wrong with a guy who, you know, looks like that? Here's another shot of him. Anyways, show you the cool insert. See, they put a cool insert on this one now. But that's pretty much about it. Basically, it's a story about a guy who loves worms. I mean, he's a little club-footed, freaky little dude who lives out on this dried-up lake, and basically the mayor and town folks want the lake, as always, to develop it and get the money, but he doesn't want to sell. So they try to get him committed into a hospital, but he doesn't want to go, and he uses his worms to go after the town folks that are trying to do him wrong, as you can see right here. But they turn into worm people, and when the girls turn into worm, it is so funny, but kind of hot too. But anyways, when the female worms want the male worms, I mean, it's a great all around cheesy horror flick. I mean, I can't really describe well. It's like one of those ones you just gotta see it to believe it. So I suggest you get Worms. It's a great one to watch. And just to recap real quick, excuse me, like I said, you definitely want to get Dillinger for Warren Oates. It's a great action gangster flick. I mean, Goodfellas and all those are great ones, but this one is the bomb. And of course, followed by Stripes, which I didn't go into detail. I just plugged it with Warren Oates, and of course, the late great John Candy in there, and even Judge Reinhold in here. And you'll see a bunch of other actors too in it that you're just like, whoa, hey, it's so and so from that movie and that movie. But I do recommend Stripes because it's really great, and you know, you can learn a lot about the big toe. And then, like I said, Dr. Detroit, the doctor is in. You can never go wrong with a good Dan Aykroyd movie. And last but not least, Worms. And like I said, what else can I say about it? So these are the choices of the night. I would suggest renting them, Netflixing them, or borrowing them from a friend. But I would definitely get these. These are worth seeing or owning. Thank you and good night.